Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am the budgeting esthetician, and today I'm going to be doing an unstuffing for the first pay period of October. So this is all of the spending that I've essentially, for me, done over the last 2 weeks. You could do this the same way if you did real cash stuffing, but just to let everybody know, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am a cashless cash stuffer and budgeter, so I do most of my tracking on things and everything digitally. And then I do have prop bills here in envelopes and binders and everything, just to help with that little bit of that visual aid and kind of making that money I spend and everything feel a little bit more real and tangible. But and also this way I could always go back to real cash stuffing if I felt like my spending was getting a little bit out of control or anything like that. But to me, the number one thing that has kept me accountable, I think even without doing real cash stuffing, is my tracking, how diligently I track all my spending. I track every single thing I spend, and I assign every single thing to a category. Especially when you first start, these categories can be as vague as you feel like you need them to be, but you need to track your spending. And I recommend everybody actually starts by tracking their spending before they even try to stuff cash envelopes, because I think a lot of people, if they just jump right into putting cash into envelopes, they end up having to move money around between their envelopes a lot because they spend more in certain categories than they want to, or less in other categories than they really need to. And it can be kind of disheartening to keep up with the cash stuffing method when you're kind of never really following your own budget. So to get to know your budget and what works for you, I really recommend always starting out by tracking and using your tracking to kind of make your categories make sense if that's needed. But yeah, definitely tracking your spending is the only way really to have a working budget, a way to keep yourself accountable, because, you know, just tracking the money that comes in is great, but, you know, if you're not actually making sure you're, like I said, staying accountable to your budget by tracking your expenses, you don't really actually know if you're spending your money wisely, any more wisely than before you had a budget. So anyways, explanation and rant, or whatever you want to call that, over. We'll just go ahead and get into the video here, where I show you me removing the prop bills from my envelopes based off of, like, again, what I spent here. And if I did all my math correctly, I added all this up, and if I did my math correctly, I should be unstuffing a total of $1,069 today. Now, one of those dollars is going to go to my cushion fund, which you'll see eventually at the end. But so technically, I guess this is $1,068. I have my tracker here. This is from Lily Budget. She is always linked down below, as well as any other Etsy sellers that you see anything from in this video or any of my videos. But I actually have 2 pages of this because I did some spending from my clothing sinking fund, finally removing that for any of my regular viewers. You know the whole thing with the clothing sinking fund, but we're going to do that probably last here, because I usually do like my expenses first, and then my sinking funds after that. So speaking of, we're going to start in my expenses and savings binder. We'll start in my fixed expenses, which are my bills. And for this pay period, as you can hopefully see on here too, I might zoom in a little bit more. YouTube Premium subscription comes out monthly for $13.99. I just round that up to $14, but that's going to come out, so we're going to mark this off here. Also, my Sally Mae student loan payment is coming out on the 13th. So we're going to go ahead and pull that, which is $123. And that's in a whole separate envelope. All the rest of my bills I keep consolidated in just one bills envelope, just to avoid having all these as individual envelopes. And then mid-month bills here for $117 are my phone bill, my car insurance. I just add these up So my phone bill is $40 and my car insurance is $77. My mom basically pulls this out of my account once a month, and I just consider that date the 15th. It's not always exactly on the 15th, but that's just the date I consider it like needing to be paid on. But yeah, she and I group our phone bill and our car insurance bills together because we get like a group bundle type discount on them that way. So yeah, that is everything we're pulling today. So we're going to start in my bills envelope, and I had to give myself a little like cheat sheet down here that from my bills we are pulling $131 for that 14 from YouTube Premium and $117 from mid-month bills. So we're just going to pull that out in a 100, a 20. Let's see, I guess we'll do these two 5s. And then this one, and now bills has 150.72, 172 in bills. And then debt, everything is coming out of debt. Oh, and actually, let me mark off here with you guys all of those. We're pulling this whole 123 from here, so 51, 22, and 3 is coming out of there. Okay, and then we move along to my variable expenses. So this is my gas, groceries, and spending. So this is spending I do on these things like every single week or every other week. And what I like to do with these is actually like add them all together here at the bottom, as you can hopefully see. And then I take my cushion fund, and if I ever underspend, I put whatever I underspent into that cushion fund. If I overspend, I take whatever I overspent out of that cushion fund. That's just a way for me to be able to clear these envelopes out every single time and like have a little bit more freedom. As far as, you know, some weeks I overspend on gas, some weeks I overspend on groceries, some weeks I overspend on spending, and the vice versa. So I just have one kind of generic category that I call cushion. That is, the goal for that is to have one paycheck's worth of what I would typically budget for all these categories, just sitting around, so that, you know, given these little tiny, you know, overages or whatnot, or like if I were to do something like just miss one day at work due to being sick and I didn't want to pull from my like emergency fund to cover that, I could pull from my cushion fund. So I do consider it part of my savings, and I try not to pull from it, but it's kind of more my like, if I do need to pull from it, I do, and that's where I go to first, if that makes any sense. But regardless, I add them all up together here at the bottom so that if there's, you know, whatever, they can all kind of equal each other out, if that makes sense. So gas, I just budgeted 25, so all that's going to come out. I did overspend just by 24 cents because my gas came out to 25.24. So again, just another helpful way to use these to help each other out just a little bit. Groceries, I just did my normal like grocery expenditures here. I actually even also too, I bought some meal prep containers off of Amazon, and I was able to put that into this 200 as well, and was still only, I believe it was like $3.72 over budget. So that was really nice. But yeah, just bought those, and then, you know, let's see, I can't even see. Yeah, like Walmart, Kroger, Walmart, Fresh Time. Those are the main kind of places I go. I prefer Walmart for anything that's like dry goods or canned goods, you know, and like stuff like that. Anything prepackaged that, you know, doesn't affect the quality. Anything that's like fresh produce and whatnot, I will usually get either from Kroger or Fresh Time, because yeah, they just have better fresh produce in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, like I said, we did overspend a bit in this category, but not very much. So that whole 200 is coming out. And then in spending, I gave myself 125 this go around, even though I usually just do 100, but this helped us to not go completely over. From here, I used a little bit of money that I went over from my clothing spending into my spending. Mostly eating out goes in here a lot of personal care items, so like bath salts I purchased up here. Let's see, Starbucks I've talked about before. Yeah, eating out. Arnica cream, I've got this Arnica cream we sell at work with the bath salts too. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's usually eating out or like self-care items going into this category. So we're pulling out the entire 125, but we did only spend 120.20, so we underspent by $4.80, which means adding that all together, we get to put $1 into my cushion. I know it only says 84 cents technically, but I always just round up or down, and it usually ends up eventually, equaling itself out. But we're going to come back to that. That's also, my cushion's also in this envelope, but we're going to come back to that after we do our sinking funds here. So we're going to start in my long-term sinking funds binder, because I just only have one envelope to pull from in here, which is my medical sinking fund. And I am pulling currently my monthly premium for my health insurance out of here. That's going to change next year once I'm able to rework my budget, as I typically do at the beginning of like any year, or if like anything big like changes in my life, like my job or income, I've always kind of done a refresh. And yeah, I'm going to be doing one at the beginning of 2024, which I'll probably be kind of showing you guys. But anyways, that'll start coming out of my like monthly bills, my fixed expenses. But for now, it's coming out of here. So it is $30 a month. So I'm going to pull that in a 20, and you know what? I'm just going to pull these 2 5s instead of that 10. And let's go ahead and mark that off here. You do not need an iPad to budget, by the way. I know I kind of said that again in a recent video, but yeah, you definitely do not need an iPad. You can totally do it on like pencil and paper. This is just an iPad I like already had essentially. But yeah, now medical has 1, 2 to 10. It's trying to build up a little bit of a buffer in there as well for like my deductible if something were to happen, and like co-pays and everything. Alrighty, and then everything else is in my short-term sinking funds binder here. The point of splitting this up is that these are my shorter term ones. They're my more revolving sinking funds, so I spend out of them more often than my long-term sinking funds, but not as often usually as my like expenses. From here, first we are actually we got to pull from clothing too, but I'm gonna come back to that and skip over it real fast and go to giving first. This is the only other sinking fund I'm pulling from, but I have 2 expenses out of here actually. $10. I bought my grandma a little Farmer's Almanac calendar from Amazon. She just told me she really wanted it and that she usually had trouble finding it, and I just went on Amazon and was like, oh, there it is, and purchased it for her. So I did. It was $10.58 after tax. So again, that's kind of another example of I just went over by 58 cents. So I just put that 58 cents on my spending to make this an even number. I do the opposite if I underspend in a category to make it an even number. So yes, and then let's see, and then a coworker, she had a wedding and we had a little party for her, so we kind of all threw in a little bit of money, and one girl kind of planned some, stuff and got all like the decorations and whatnot. So I pitched in 15. So anyways, a total between those two of 25 needs to come out today. So we're going to do that in a 20 and a 5. And I'll just mark both of those off here on our tracker. and it still has 1020 M5 in there. This is pretty much just getting saved up for Christmas at this point. Okay, and then moving back to clothing, all of this money is coming out today, which should be $410. So I purchased some leggings, which I needed for work from Amazon, which were $69.08. And then from Ross, I went there 2 times. One time with my best friend. She was in town and we decided to go there. And I spent $116.59. Got a couple pairs of shoes there. And then I can't even remember what else. I went to exchange. Oh yeah, it was like a skirt. I went back, exchanged that for a $8 pair of jeans. If you guys have any Rosses nearby, I really like them. Not everything you find there is great quality, and you definitely have to take your time to kind of look through. It's kind of like a TJ Maxx or, whatnot. Marshalls, but yeah, it is really, you can find some really good, like, kind of diamonds in the rough in there. But yes, so I got some jeans and like a new top or something too. So, added on a little bit more money there, but, wasn't too bad, I feel like, for what I got. And then, I went to Target on the 4th, for that Labor Day sale that I've talked about before, and spent $195.17. And then I went back again on the 7th to exchange something for something else, and I ended up getting some jewelry as well, so that added on $9.93. Again, that overage from that, it was technically for $11.40, so you can see that, like I said, overage went here to my spending to take care of that, but that is just that $410 today. So that should be everything here. 1, 2, 3, 50, 70, 90, 4, and 10. 410 coming out of clothing, and I won't be adding anything else to clothing for the rest of the year. So hopefully I'm good until I start stuffing it again next year, which I think I should be. But all right, that concludes all the unstuffing for today, you guys. So pretty much all we're going to do at this point is just go ahead and count this money and make sure that I've got the correct amount here. And if I don't, see what I did wrong. But let's go ahead and give this a count. Like I said, it should be $1,069. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700. 750, 800, 850, 870, 890, 910, 30, 50, 70, 90, 1,010, 1,020, 30, 1,030, 1,035, 45, 55, 65, 1,065, 1,067, 8, and 9, 1,069. Perfect. That means I did everything correctly. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. My next milestone is 200 subscribers. I believe we're pretty close, like in 190 something, I want to say. Hopefully, I'll have my next video up a week from when you see this one, which should be my stuffing for my second paycheck of October. And then of course after that will be my last unstuffing and bill condensing for October. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and your week until I see you again, and I will see you guys later.